Back in November of 2021, the digital downloads for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, as well as the original Metal Gear Solid, were removed from digital storefronts, with Konami citing the reasoning being expired licenses. Then in July of 2022, Konami announced their intentions to reinstate the games for the series' 35th anniversary. In May of this year, during the announcement of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, Konami also took the opportunity to announce the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Vol.1, saying, "We will deliver the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection series, the most complete compilation that celebrates the 35th anniversary of the series. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection allows fans to play the games as they were as first released on the latest platforms." So as we near the launch of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, I want to dispel and correct a lot of misinformation out there about this collection. I'm going to lay out everything in this collection and explain why I think for $59.99, this is an incredible value for any Metal Gear fan or soon-to-be fan out there. Now, an important disclaimer before we get started. I want to make this clear. I do not currently possess a copy of this newly released version of this collection, nor have I played any build of this release. But what I do have is weeks and months worth of official information from Konami scattered around the internet from official websites and social media posts and interviews, and confirmation from people who have played this collection that I personally know and can vouch for at media press events and the recent Tokyo Game Show and other official media outlets like Famitsu Japan. The information you're about to see is a culmination of that, so let's get started. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is so much more than just the re-release of Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, which most media outlets and other influencers would lead you to believe. In fact, the collection consists of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, both released on the MSX, as well as Metal Gear NES Edition with Snake's Revenge. Then we have Metal Gear Solid VR Missions, Metal Gear Solid Special Missions, Metal Gear Solid Integral, and Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty HD Collection Version, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD Collection Version. We round out this bunch with Metal Gear Solid Digital Graphic Novel, Metal Gear Solid 2 Digital Graphic Novel, originally released for the PSP, and that's just the games. That's technically 12 games in total.
Liquid! Snake! Did you like my sunglasses?
Originally released on the Sony PlayStation in 1998, Metal Gear Solid eventually was ported to the PC. As years went on, it was made available as a digital download via the PlayStation Store on a wide variety of Sony consoles that had access to the PlayStation Network. Metal Gear Solid includes a story mode, training mode, which consists of 30 VR training missions, and a demo theater to watch back the various cutscenes throughout the game. But you're not only getting the original Metal Gear Solid, you're also getting Now, I'm combining these two because they are essentially the same content, with the PAL version of Metal Gear Solid Special Missions being unique in the way that, unlike Metal Gear Solid VR Missions, which is a standalone game, Metal Gear Solid Special Missions required the original Metal Gear Solid 1 disc to play, because Metal Gear Solid Special Missions was treated essentially as an expansion for the base game. So what is Metal Gear Solid VR Missions? Metal Gear Solid VR Missions is like the training mode found in the original Metal Gear Solid release, except this was a standalone game, which consisted of not 30, but a staggering 300 VR training and trial missions in the game. This consisted of the following: Sneaky Mode, 60 missions, Weapon Mode, 80 missions, Advanced Mode, 80 missions, and Special Mode, 80 missions. 300 missions in total. One of the original main selling points of the game was a chance to play a cyborg ninja, aka Gray Fox, although limited to one level, but still insanely cool at the time. Metal Gear Solid VR missions also contain several unlockable pieces of content that can be accessed after the player has met certain requirements. Those would be movies, which were essentially pre-release trailers of the original Metal Gear Solid, a photo shoot mode, a mode where you, the player, could have a photo session with models of Mei Ling and Naomi, and confidential data. When the player completes their 300th mission, well, I'll let you find out what happens.
VR トレーニング最終形態難易度全5ランクさらに様々な新要素を小島秀夫監督が追加完全版へと進化したメタルギアソリッドインテグラル Konami.
Now you might be asking yourself, what is Metal Gear Solid Integral then? For all intents and purposes, Metal Gear Solid Integral is basically the essential, complete version of Metal Gear Solid, and it was only sold in Japan. However, its voice acting is in English. Integral has many features, including a special mode, a normal difficulty where you can shoot and move in first-person view. Walkways and guard shot patterns are typically more scattered, which makes the game harder. It includes everything in Metal Gear Solid VR missions and special missions, and unlike the Japanese version of Metal Gear Solid, it includes very easy, normal, hard, and extreme difficulty modes. Now, with all four of these Metal Gear Solid games explained, what is also included? Well, this is what we know so far. Achievements have been added, English and Japanese dubs included, with English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese languages available in subtitle form, as well as the French, German, Italian, Spanish dubs are also included in the EU version of the base game. The option to virtually swap controller ports from player 1 to player 2 for Psycho Mantis' fight to mimic the original behavior of the PlayStation 1, much like the solution for the PSN version that you could play on the PlayStation 3. Now, this is a big deal, everyone. In the history of Metal Gear Solid, this is a newly added feature, and we are getting it exclusively with this collection. An option to choose and create saved data from Konami games to mimic Psycho Mantis reading your memory card and talking about these games like he did in the original, with Integral giving you even more options with games like Snatcher, Police Knots, and more. These games will also have 4x3 options, with such abilities to move the screen from center to left or right. This is a nice quality of life feature, especially for those who do streaming and such. 4x3 backgrounds with black borders or multiple game-related wallpapers, a digital replica of the game's original packaging, Meryl's codec frequency, anyone? Mouse and keyboard support, which I know is really important to people, but with a slight caveat. Even though not shown on the Steam page, Konami has quoted as saying they will do everything they can to make all games and the Master Collection Vol.1 mouse and keyboard friendly, so it may not be working all together on launch, but Konami will do their best to get that working as best they can. These games also come with a digital screenplay book. This is a big deal, and I'll explain why in a bit. And the digital master book, again, this is a big deal. Metal Gear Solid originally ran at the resolution of 240p at 30 FPS. This was programmed in. You see, many PlayStation era games were programmed to work at 30 FPS due to system resource limitations and various other in-game UX, UI issues, including physics and other elements. Meaning, if you were to force the game to run at 60 FPS, let's say via emulator for example, you would essentially be breaking the game. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection will run Metal Gear Solid VR Missions, Metal Gear Solid Special Missions, and Metal Gear Solid Integral at 1080p at 30 FPS. Are you still with me? Good. I know that was a lot to cover so far, but the next part will go by much more quickly, mainly because we don't know a whole lot other than what has been officially released information-wise from Konami, which isn't much, to be honest. But we do have some and tidbits of information provided by eyewitness accounts from people who attended the recent Tokyo Game Show and played the Master Collection at Konami's booth, though most limited to 15 minutes a day. Now, for these next two games, we'll be flying through this because, frankly, we don't know exactly what Konami has done in terms of all fixes or changes, so apologies if this seems rushed.
Stupid machines!
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. This is based on the Blue Point HD edition released in 2011-2012. This game will include the English and Japanese voiceovers and have mouse and keyboard support, as well as the digital screenplay book and digital master book as we described earlier. Fixes that we know so far done for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, but just keep in mind these could change for whatever reason. And most of this information we've gathered from eyewitness accounts, so take it with a grain of salt. But we've seen that the Metal Gear Solid 2 logo in the opening is now similar to how it was on the original PS2 release, and not as small as it was in the HD edition. Various quality of life fixes, bugs, glitches, changes that were introduced in the HD collection, like pause delay before codec calls and incorrect lighting in the opening scene. Clips of historical footage, which we knew what was coming, because these are the main reason Konami used for pulling these games down from digital storefronts in the first place. These were replaced with new historical footage since the companies that owned the original licenses are gone.
Shots.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, again based on the Blue Point HD editions from 2011-2012. English and Japanese voiceovers included, just the same as Metal Gear Solid 2, and again, mouse and keyboard support. Now this, we do have a confirmation from a user who played the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 3 at Tokyo Game Show, confirmed to us that WASD controls did work and they were able to use them. So again, this is an eyewitness account confirmation, but who knows on launch how this will officially be supported or not, but we do have that. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater for the Master Collection will also include the digital screenplay book and the digital master book. Fixes that we know so far done with Metal Gear Solid 3. Faster load times. Again, we actually have footage of this. And it's pretty amazing, and I'm hoping that these faster load times are not only for Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but also for Sons of Liberty and any other game in this collection. It would only make sense being on these newer platforms with better hardware and whatnot. So that is I'm really excited about that, and I'm sure for you speedrunners out there, this is great news. Fixes and bugs and glitches that were introduced in the HD collection, just like Metal Gear Solid 2. Pauses, delay for changing camouflage, cure menu, etc. Again, clips of historical footage were replaced with new historical footage since the companies that, again, own these licenses are now gone. So Konami literally was forced to replace these clips, and not to some rumors you may have heard of that they didn't want to pay for licenses or nothing. That's just preposterous. Konami literally just had to get new footage because the companies that supplied the original clips no longer ceased to exist. Mouse and keyboard support again, and the Master Collection for these games, both Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater will run at 1080p 60 FPS on every platform other than the Nintendo Switch, which is locked at 30 FPS and plays at different resolutions based on whether or not the system is docked or not. Now, important note for you would-be buyers, only the download versions of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater can be purchased individually. That now, again, only the download versions of these games can be purchased individually. Now, let's quickly move on to the MSX NES games, which also coincides with the bonus games and material. MSX games Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, unlike in the past where these games were tied to Metal Gear Solid 3 in order to play, these games now have their own launcher. They now have achievements added to both games, and as well as Metal Gear Solid, they all have 4x3 screen and background options, as I mentioned before, as well as the digital screenplay book and digital master books. Please note though, Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake are included with the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 version. Now let's talk about bonus games and materials included with the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. Again, as a reminder, those who didn't read the official website, bonus content is only available with bundle purchase. Bonus content will not be included if purchasing each title separately. That's important, don't forget that. Metal Gear NES Edition, Famicom Edition, and Snake's Revenge. Everything I mentioned with the MSX applies here as well. Games now have their own launcher, achievements added to both games, as well as with Metal Gear Solid, they all have 4x3 screen and background options, as well as the digital screenplay book and the digital master books. Rounding out the last games, we have the digital graphic novels. This includes Metal Gear Solid digital graphic novel with English and Japanese voiceovers, Metal Gear Solid 2 digital graphic novels with English and Japanese voiceovers. We also have the Metal Gear Solid digital soundtrack. Now this comes with a digital music player with 20 songs. Now we have the early purchase pre-order bonus. Now again, this is exclusive to people who pre-order the Master Collection Volume 1. You get 3 exclusive digital tracks. Tracks are The Best Is Yet to Come, Master Collection version, Can't Say Goodbye to Yesterday, Master Collection version, and Snake Eater, Master Collection version. These new tracks were all arranged for orchestra and recorded specially for this bundle. And now for some important additional information. I really can't emphasize enough as to how big a deal this is and how much value alone this brings to the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. First, let's talk about the digital screenplay books and why this is such a big deal. The digital screenplay books are essentially the Metal Gear Solid scenario books 1, 2, and 3. These include the entire dialogue script for the games, including additional codec calls and special screenplay notes, some of which comprise well over 1,000 pages worth of dialogue for all these games provided. They were only available in Japan, now fully available and translated and localized for the very first time ever. Now, let's talk about the digital master books. These contain rare and exclusive artwork from Yoji Shinkawa, alongside other pictures, character information, and bios, including guides only found in other official guidebooks, which normally have to be purchased separately. Guides for such things as ghost photos in Metal Gear Solid, dog tags for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and even a guide to collect all the Karotans in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and much more. Features for both of these include the ability to add bookmarks and background music. You can truly immerse yourself by playing your favorite background music while reading all of this amazing release material. Again, this material found on eBay and purchased separately, as far as the scenario books 1, 2, and 3, and the artwork included, and the guides, could run you into the hundreds of dollars if you were to try to purchase these. And we're getting these for these games for free as a bonus. This is worth the price of admission alone, and this is why I think most people don't understand why the $59.99 price tag really is an incredible value, with everything I've explained thus far taking all things into consideration. Well, that just about wraps up this video. I hope this clarifies any information and helps anyone out there confused about this collection. I really wish Konami would put a little more effort into explaining why the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is actually such an incredible value for what we are getting. But for those who have already pre-ordered the collection and plan on playing on launch in a few days, I'm so excited for you. Ultimately, having these games back on so many accessible platforms for people to play these masterpieces on is really what this is all about, and we have so much more to look forward to. If need be, I will do a follow-up to this video to correct any information that I have relayed, but to keep up on all things Metal Gear and Hideo Kojima's game world, be sure to follow MGN on Twitter at MGSMGN and everywhere else we are found. Thanks for watching.